Hey, comic lovers, EMoney and the old man here. He's alive. He's here. And Thor the Dog of Thunder, of course. Alright, so, old man, got back from the hospital Thursday, this past Thursday. So, he's been home for a while. So, he's doing good.
And you know the worst part?
Hmm?
I never felt bad the entire time they kept me in there.
Yeah.
I felt fine. But no, your heartbeat's too fast, so we're going to make you stay.
Alright, well, we're here at our weekend garage sale. If you haven't been to our garage sale lately, we made a few changes. We have some new pegboards that we've installed into the garage. I think you can see this one in the back here.
Well, you're going to put pictures and stuff, right?
Yeah, and it makes room for more action figures. And we have another wall that you can't see. I'll put up a picture right now of all of our die-cast stuff and a few other things. So we have room for a lot more merchandise to show you guys. So, come by the garage sale this Saturday and, we can show you around. All right, so today, what are we talking about? Well, this past weekend, this being Wednesday, this show drops. This past weekend was San Diego Comic-Con. And you know what that means? Trailers galore. So we're going to be recapping a few of our favorite trailers from this past weekend. Then we have our comic reviews and previews. And then, we have a Boxed Heroes unboxing a little later on.
We do indeed.
Mm-hmm. And we're going to do something fun with Thor in a little bit.
Aww.
Huh? That sound good to you, buddy?
Probably too hot for him to do anything.
Yeah? All right. Have you heard of Sauron? This is Back Issues. Alright, comic lovers, so before we get started today, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, turn on notifications, give us a thumbs up, and if you like, leave us a comment. Help us reach 1,000 subscribers. We're inching a little bit closer every day.
Inching,
Yeah.
such short baby steps.
I mean, we're almost at the 900 mark, which,
Well, it took us forever to get from 8 to here.
yeah. So we're almost at 900, so now we got to do another 100 to get to 1,000. So help us reach that goal, guys.
Some of y'all need to step up.
Yeah.
I know your Aunt Matilda doesn't subscribe. When she ain't looking, just pick up her phone and subscribe for us.
Yeah.
You never know.
All right. So at the time of this recording, Comic-Con San Diego is still going on. So we might miss a few trailers that drop after we record this. So sorry if we miss a few. Maybe we'll cover those in the next episode. But the ones that have dropped so far at the time of this recording have been the Dungeons & Dragons trailer, Honor Among Thieves, the Lord of the Rings, the Rings of Power show on Amazon, not to mention John Wick 4 and I Am Groot also having dropped. So we're going to take a few minutes to talk about the two big fantasy trailers that dropped, D&D and Lord of the Rings. So I have a bit of a association I put with Lord of the Rings and Dungeons & Dragons because back in 2000, that's when the original Dungeons & Dragons movie dropped, or I should say was released. And, this was a year before Lord of the Rings. Now, I'm not saying there weren't any good fantasy movies out there back then.
There were.
There were some great fantasy movies. There was, the Conan movies. There was The Princess Bride, Willow, and then, some of the...
You're missing the best fantasy movie of all time.
I was going to say some of the campier stuff that, maybe you guys haven't heard of. The old man's personal favorite, Hawk the Slayer.
I'll be honest with you, it's a terrible movie. I just love it though.
Mm-hmm.
It's so bad it's good.
Yeah, you can't help but laugh. And also some of the other campy stuff like The Sword and the Sorcerer.
That wasn't all that campy.
But I still don't know how he got the sword blades to shoot out and kill their opponents.
Magic?
Okay. I mean, it looked like it was jet powered to me, but all right. So there was some good stuff out there, but I was really jonesing for a new fantasy film. And then D&D came out. Now, at the time it was released, I thought it was the greatest thing ever.
I still don't think it's bad.
Yeah, I mean, you have Jeremy Irons is the main antagonist in it, and Justin Whalen. I think it was his only big part after Lois and Clark. So and then one of the Wayans brothers, of course. So bit of an oddball mix there. And I thought it was great. I think I watched it like probably 2 or 3 times after we got the DVD. Then Lord of the Rings came out the next year. And then Lord of the Rings, yeah, Lord of the Rings became the new standard in fantasy films, and it was the movie that all other fantasy films are compared to since then, and nothing's really, I don't think anything's ever really measured up since then. So that's how I associate those two movies. So now we have these 2 new projects being released really close to each other. D&D Honor Among Thieves comes out next year, March the 3rd. So
Man, that's a long time from now.
yeah. So we have, this new trailer just dropped, and for the most part, it looks pretty good. CGI and everything looks on par. Hopefully they don't, overdo it like they did with Warcraft, and it's just, or the Hobbit movies for that matter, and it just becomes this big mess. It looks like they have real people doing the parts as much as they can in the movie. Now, one part that kind of has me worried is at one point it looks like the heroes are in an underground cavern and they see this big city sprawled before them. Is that supposed to be a Drow city? Menzoberranzan or Ched Nassad or one of the other Drow cities?
I mean, it looks like a Drow city.
Yeah. So, is it a Drow city? And also, like, you immediately see these creatures that they're fighting after you see that shot of the city. And are those supposed to be Drow? They look humanoid, but they don't look like dark elves at all.
Because they're not dark.
Right. So, hopefully, I misinterpreted that scene and they're not supposed to be Drow, because if they are, they've already screwed up.
I mean, Drow should be like ebony black.
Yeah.
I mean, so black they're almost blue.
I mean, you guys heard me say this before a million times on the show. You don't screw with the source material.
Preach on.
And if they have, especially Drow, because Drow are like very near and dear to most D&D players, because what some of the best storytelling from D&D comes from the Legend of Drizzt.
They're just a perfect enemy race.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just tailor-made to make good storytelling.
Right, exactly. So if they screwed that up, then they've already lost, their initial audience, the D&D players. So hopefully that's not what I saw in the trailer, and there's some other species.
I mean, if they screw that up, I'll still watch it.
Yeah, but they won't hear nice things from me later on. All right, so that covers the D&D trailer for the most part. What is it? Owlbear?
Owlbear.
Yeah. So you spotted that right away. You knew.
I know what an owlbear looks like. It looks like a big bear that's kind of got an owl face.
Okay. And are they typically shapeshifters in D&D?
No, there's owlbears that are just owlbears.
Okay. So that's a little different. All right, so next up you have the Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. And this takes place a couple thousand years, I think, before The Hobbit. And you have a young Lady Galadriel and possibly a few other characters that appear, like a young Elrond who appears in the movie. And this was more showing a little bit more of what you can expect in the series. Like there's a meteor that cuts through Middle Earth, and all the different races are looking up at it. So not sure what that is. Is that Sauron that is making landfall on Middle Earth?
Don't know.
Could be. So you see dwarves, you see elves. I think you see a little tease of an Ent in that trailer, and a couple other things. And it looks really good. Somebody said to me earlier that they messed up on the costumes, and that it looks like a baker's uniform instead of like elven clothing.
I think they're just saying that they were disappointed in the elven costumes, that they weren't elvish enough. I don't really know what that means.
Yeah.
Because elves 2,000 years ago could wear whatever they wanted. I mean, I'm not that big into the costumes.
Right. So we'll see. And then also at the very end of the trailer, you get a little tease of the Balrog. Maybe that's what the meteor is. The Balrog. Yeah.
I just thought he looked badass.
Yeah, that would probably make more sense. And thing about prequels is who can die and who can't die.
Well, there's not going to be a lot of characters in this that are in the movies.
Well, if it's the same Balrog, no one's gonna slay it because
I don't know that it's whatever. We'll see.
Okay. All right. So Lord of the Rings: The Rings of Power coming out a lot sooner, September 2nd.
All right.
And
I can wait for that.
I believe we'll be doing reaction videos to this show.
Oh.
It'll be our first non-Disney Plus show to do a reaction video for.
Now, do you know if it's going to release one episode at a time, or is it going to be a big dump?
I think one at a time, because I think that's how Amazon does it.
Okay.
But I couldn't swear to that. All right, so also you have John Wick 4. Always looks exciting. And
how could a John Wick movie not be exciting? In fact, while I was in the hospital, I had my phone with me, and I've got a lot of movies that I can access from my phone. So I watched the original John Wick again.
Oh, okay. And also I Am Groot shorts that are going to be playing on Disney Plus on August 10th.
Another show that I'll watch, but I'm not real excited about.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't super excited about that either. But we'll give it a look. All right, so that is what we've seen so far out of San Diego Comic-Con. And if they drop something really big on Saturday night, sorry we didn't catch it on this one. So
we're going to tell them about it next week, man.
Yeah, next weekend, we'll go over it.
A little late, but better late than never.
All right, so it's really hot out here, so let's head inside and let's talk comic books.
You can't go inside.
We'll turn the fans on for you, okay, buddy? All right, so just to let you guys know, I have all kinds of fun stuff to show you just off camera here.
Yeah, you went a little crazy pulling toys, didn't you?
Yeah.
Wow.
And we're going to get to that in just a little bit, but first we have our comic reviews. So, if you've never seen us do this before, we grade these on a 5-shield rating system. We give them each 2 scores, one for writing and story and the other one for artwork. And then we combine the 4 scores together to give it an average overall score.
That's how we do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So first up, we have our mentions this week. Now, this first mention, I only bring it up because of the cover. Because when we got our comic books for the old man, well, actually, I picked them up last week because somebody was in the hospital. But I picked them up, and as I look through them, I see this cover, and I didn't see any other release other than what we got last week. So I didn't see that a lot of variants of Marvel covers had this on it.
Marvel does that occasionally. Like, you might have a week where there's a bunch of Deadpools on covers that are not in the comic, but they're on the cover. And when they got the right to the Aliens franchise, there was a whole group of books with aliens on it. Now, I tend to avoid getting those covers because, well, it's got nothing to do with the comic book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And when I was in the hospital and I was using the Comic Hub to pick out our books for this week, it's small screen, it's hard to see. I didn't realize there was a Predator on this cover. I couldn't see it that well. But, yeah, there's Predator on it.
Yeah, I saw this on the cover, and, in the story, Miles has been, traipsing through the multiverse lately. So I thought, Marvel owns Predator now. So, Miles is going to fight a Predator? He's going to go into the, Predator universe?
Not yet.
I mean, in my head, it made perfect sense. But, I read the comic and I get to the end of the issue and no Predator. It's like, oh, that was just a big fat tease. So, don't be fooled like I was. No Predator in this issue or any other Marvel issue for that matter this week. So, the actual comic book, not bad. Not great, but not horrible. And Miles Morales, Spider-Man, number 40, ended up with 3 shields out of 5.
Just so you know, all 4 of these comic books that we're going to mention, same score.
Okay.
3 shields. Next up, Axe, Judgment Day, number 1.
All right, so we brought this up because, this is the big crossover event that Marvel's been advertising.
But
now,
we don't read any of the books that are involved.
No.
Of all the crossovers, the only one that's got that storyline in it that we normally get is Amazing Spider-Man number 6. Now, we don't get Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
We don't get any of the X-Men books. and we didn't like the Eternals at all. So this would probably be the last time we talk about this particular storyline.
Right. So the Eternals and X-Men are apparently, there's a prophecy or whatever vision of them going into a war with each other.
Well, keep in mind the Eternals are around to combat deviants.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they consider mutants.
Some of them.
Some of them consider mutants to be deviants.
Mm-hmm. So Tony is going about trying to prevent this whole war from happening, and I think he's just gonna make it worse because, you know, he's Tony. I mean, Tony goes into something half-assed trying to prevent something from happening, and he just makes it worse. You know, see Age of Ultron, if you don't believe me. So, you know, this happens, and the Eternals, some of the Eternals, you know, like we said, think the X-Men are deviants, so they launch an attack on their home island country of Krakoa. And apparently they know exactly how to go about attacking them and their immortality system that they have worked out.
Yeah, they're going after the 5.
Yeah.
That can reincarnate mutants.
Mm-hmm. So it goes from there, and then, you know, they launch their war machines that they plan on using, and then they tell everybody around the world, hey, don't worry about these giant towering war machines that are just off the seaboards. You know, they're not there to harm you. Everybody just be cool about it, okay?
Yeah, I'm heading east.
Yeah, no one really buys that, or at least no one that we see here. But overall, I didn't find anything too encouraging to keep reading this series. You know, maybe I'll regret it a little bit down the line when people are talking about it. But for right now, I think we're just going to have this one issue.
Well,
so
2. There was a prelude last.
Right, prelude.
Right. This is number 1.
So Avengers, X-Men, Eternals, Judgment Day, number 1, ended up with 3 shields out of 5.
Next up, soon to be played by Dwayne Johnson,
Mm-hmm.
Black Adam. Number 2. Hadn't they been working on that movie for like 3, 4, 5 years?
Yeah, it seems like it's been a while.
It's been a while. Anyway, Black Adam number 2.
All right, so in this issue, Black Adam is apparently dying because he was attacked by Darkseid, and now he's slowly dying, and he needs to find a successor. So they find a ancestor, or not? He's the ancestor. They find a descendant of his who is, you know, living in the modern world. Guy is Mr. White. I forgot his first name.
Was it Malik?
Malik White, I think.
Maybe.
And you know, he's a young man in his 20s going to med school, just ordinary guy. And they tell him that he's the descendant of Black Adam. He doesn't know what the hell they're talking about. Well, they all but force him to take the power of the Black Adam, and he says the magic word, and we see him appear in his costume form, and they decree him to be White Adam. So this is why, for you speculators out there, you might want to grab this issue if you haven't already, because this will be the first appearance of White Adam.
Now, Black Adam number 1, last issue, will be the first appearance of the Malik White.
Right. So
you have what is probably going to end up being a not as important issue, followed by the first appearance.
Right. So speculators out there, go ahead and grab this. All right. So Black Adam number 2 ends up with 3 shields out of 5.
All right.
All right. Then finally,
from Image Comics, a number 1 book that I didn't know anything about. Picked it up, read the first 3 pages, still didn't know anything about it. Then it got interesting. This is Rogues Gallery number 1.
All right, so this one is sort of a meta comic book because you have a group of friends who are big fans of this comic book hero, and it's Red Rogue Down, I think it's called. Red Rogue Down. Yeah, okay. So, volume 3. Okay, so they're big fans of the comic book, and also they are sort of fans of the TV show.
The TV show's been running for quite a while.
Yeah, TV show's been going for 10 years, and according to them, it hasn't been good since season 3. So, they're talking about the season finale that's on tonight, and they're discussing it in person and also on the message boards. And, the finale happens, and they decide it's crap. It's terrible, and they ruined the villain that they just introduced, and they made him into a joke. So they decided that the actress who plays Red Rogue in the TV show, they know that she owns a key issue. In this world, it's the Holy Grail of comics, Red Rogue Down number 4, or something like that. And they decided she's not worthy to have the Holy Grail of comic books because she's so terrible. And they decide they're going to break into her house and steal the comic book.
They find out that the actress is leaving the show.
Oh yeah, that too. Like, after the terrible season finale, she decides she's going to leave the show, and then the showrunners, because she's leaving, is canceling the show.
So these people are not happy.
Yeah, so it sets them over the edge, and they decide that they're going to steal her Holy Grail comic book. So they, formulate a plan, and they put on their Red Rogue Down comic cosplays, and they're going to head into her house. And we don't know the full details because that's going to be in the next issue, but things don't go as planned.
No, not at all.
And it leaves a bit of a mystery cliffhanger here, so check that out and get the next issue.
Yeah, we're at least going to get the next one just to see how it plays out.
Right. So Rogues Gallery number 1 ends up with 3 shields out of 5. All right, so there's our mentions for this week. Now it's time for our top 3.
All right. Now, there was a tie. Surprise. And we saw a trailer for the next Clerks movie.
Mm-hmm.
And that flashed us back to the guys playing hockey on the roof. So we went out in the street and we set up some trash cans and stuff and as goals, and we played street hockey. I have never played street hockey. We played football and basketball. Street hockey? What the hell is street hockey? This knucklehead has played a lot of street hockey. Also, he gets Thor, the dog of thunder, out there grabbing the ball every time I shoot a goal. Cheating bastard, I swear.
Best goalie ever.
So, at any rate, I did not win. So if you don't like the order of number 2 and number 3 this week, it's on the cheating guy. Mm-hmm.
All
right, so we'll start out with a pretty interesting book from AWA. It's The Joneses. It's a miniseries. This is number 4 out of 5.
All right, so in this story, what happened was there was a global pandemic. A lot of people died, and the people who recovered from it, a lot of them ended up with superpowers.
Yeah, like 5%.
Yeah. So, unlike the real pandemic, I didn't get COVID, knock on wood. But if I did, when I came back, I'd like to have superpowers.
Well, I think that should be, a reward.
Yeah, your consolation prize. For, if you have to get it, then you get superpowers. But in this issue, about 5% of them get these powers. They're called newborns, is what they call them. And, the response is much like it is in the X-Men mutant comic books. People, they fear what they don't understand. And they want to round up all the newborns because, they didn't have a choice. They got sick. They didn't have a choice in the matter.
Well, one of the problems that doesn't help things very much is a certain percentage of the newborns decide that, hey, we're going to be supervillains.
Yep. Some are supervillains, some want to be superheroes, others, they don't want to
be left alone.
Yeah, they don't want to show people they have powers at all. So, the humans, they set up these neighborhood watch groups, and they want to report the newborns and, round them up and everything. Well, one family who was, used to be friends of the Joneses, who also have superpowers, they're like playing all sides here because they're dressing up in disguises as supervillains, and they're knocking over banks, and they're threatening politicians. At the same time, they're the head of the neighborhood watch group.
The neighborhood watch group that is looking for newborns.
Yeah. So it's interesting to see how this whole thing is going to play out. This is number 4 out of 5. So the big
one more issue to wrap it up.
Yeah, one more issue. So keeping up with the Joneses, good character study comic book. into just human
Oh,
nature.
I like the conversation between the husband and wife, the main characters, on what to do with their powers, if anything.
Right. All right. So number 4 out of 5, our number 3 pick for this week, coming in at
3.5.
3.5 shields out of 5. All right. Next up,
our boy, the old Gunslinger Spawn, number 10.
All right, so, as usual in Gunslinger and most Spawn issues is, great artwork in here. Now, the story follows Gunslinger and She-Spawn, who are trying to enlist the help of OG Spawn and helping Gunslinger get back to his original time. His original time is 1859. Now, that's pre-Civil War, right?
Yep.
I thought he lived at a post-Civil War time. But, nope. Excuse me. All right, so Gunslinger, he's in Spawn's headquarters, and there's a lot of different people running around. So he comes into this observation room, and he sees screen images of all the different Spawns that are around the world. And in one video feed he looks at, one of the other Spawns is pointing his gun towards the camera, and Spawn looks at it and he's like, "Look out!" and starts shooting his guns at the monitor. Now, when I first saw that, I thought that someone was doing some, voodoo magic stuff and was, coming through the screen and attacking the headquarters. But then I find out that no, it's because Gunslinger's from 1859 and doesn't know what a TV screen is.
Doesn't get it.
Yeah. So he's having this argument with the people in the room, and he's like, "So it wasn't real?" And he's like, "No, it was a screen." And he's like, "But it looks real, but it's not. It's a computer monitor." And he's like, "A computer? Okay, run that one past me again." And he's like, "Oh, for God's sake." So that was fun.
That's one of my favorite parts about Gunslinger Spawn, is he doesn't get the modern time at all.
No. I love the issue a few issues ago when he says to the kid, he's like, "What is this doing in your house?" And he's pointing at the toilet. So
you crap in your house.
Right.
Yeah, I liked that too. I thought it was funny.
So him and Spawn, they're not the best of friends. They don't get along too well. So when two guys aren't getting along, in some circles, like, what do?
Take it out in the schoolyard.
10 rounds of bare knuckle boxing. And so they go to this area where it's like a power dampening dead zone, because typically OG Spawn would be more powerful than Gunslinger Spawn. But here they're on equal footing, so they decide to duke it out. So they do this for a little while, and when they come back, they're like, "All right, brother, let's do this." Go figure.
Just like two kids in the schoolyard, I'm telling you.
All right, so Gunslinger Spawn number 10 ends up at our number 2 spot with
3.5.
3.5 shields out of 5. And then finally, number 1.
Number 1. Now, it doesn't say it's a Black Label comic. It doesn't say it's an Elseworlds comic. But obviously, it's not canon.
Wouldn't think so.
No. And it's Batman Killing Time, number 5 out of 6.
All right. So this issue starts off, I found it a little bit confusing, because the narrator is recounting all this fighting going on with people that you don't even know. And it says here, Rachel Stratter fires a 16 gauge umbrella gun into the chest of Agent Gil Cullen, killing him instantly.
And all these people that they tell their story about, you never heard of before.
Right. And it says something like, stuff like, this guy shot 4 people before being shot in the neck himself. He was dead 7 minutes later, and stuff like that. Another account here says, one man remains unidentified, kills 33 federal agents and 16 goons by firing gleefully into the crowd. Witnesses would later describe him as Joker Goon. It is possible that this was the Joker himself, but I cannot confirm that.
Sounds like him.
So all this stuff happens here, and then finally we flash back to the events prior to this, and we find out that Riddler and Catwoman working together, and they have secured an artifact of some kind, and they're looking to make a deal with a U.S. agent, federal agent, and get paid for it.
Well, that agent is wackadoo.
Yeah, she's a little on the crazy side. She's like Amanda Waller unhinged sort of crazy. So they're looking to make this deal, and at the same time, Batman and the Help are racing towards them to intercept the deal.
Gotta love the Help.
Yeah, the Help, prior issues, he's a guy who I think he was hired originally by the Penguin, and he's looking to recover the artifact himself. And he actually bested Batman in a one-on-one fight.
Took Bats down.
Yep. So, they're racing to intercept them. In the meantime, Penguin has hired all the goons in Gotham.
All the goons.
To intercept the deal going down, and federal agents are going to be there too, monitoring the deal going down. So that's what all the events in the previous at the beginning of the issue were.
And he loads up 3 tour buses.
Yeah.
Full of these henchmen, and sends them to the park to fight these agents.
So all that chaos ensues, and towards the end of the issue, Catwoman looks like she's about to engage with the Help. And, unless this version of Catwoman is much more skilled than she usually is, she's way out of her league here.
That wouldn't have ended well for Catwoman.
No. And then by the end of the issue, we find out who the narrator this whole time has been. And, he's been narrating this for 5 issues, so we finally find out who it is. Because it's been a mystery, in the background for a while now. All right, so Batman Killing Time, and, great artwork in this issue. Batman Killing Time number 5 ends up with
4 shields after we rounded it up.
Rounded up. All right, so that is our reviews for last week's comics. Get them at your local comic book shop now if you haven't already. Now, what comes out today, old man?
All right, so one of my favorite Batman books is Batman Fortress number 3 ships. Chip Zdarsky, non-superhero.
Oh, yeah.
Public domain. That book got real interesting in the last 3 pages.
Yeah.
So looking forward to it. Number 2 comes out. The Naughty List, the alternate Santa Claus story.
Okay.
Number 4 ships. And Marvel, in their infinite wisdom, put out several number 1 issues. Now, I don't know that we got them all, but I'm going to get Ant-Man number 1, Gambit number 1, and Genis Vell, Captain Marvel number 1.
Okay. We'll see how many of those number 1s we keep next week. All right. That does it for our previews. Now, let's show you guys what we got in the mail this week. All right. So this week we got in the mail our July Boxed Heroes. And if you've never seen us do this before, Boxed Heroes is a monthly subscription mystery box where you get all kinds of different comics that come with it. They're supposed to cover, a wide range of eras from Silver Age to modern, but in full discrepancy, a lot of it is modern stuff that...
Full disclosure.
Full disclosure, sorry. A lot of it is stuff that we got in the last month or so. So
a lot of the times you get a lot of stuff that's still on the racks at your LCS, but they do a lot of alternate covers, variants, and a lot of times we'll get a book we already own, but it's a different variant. And then you get 4, 5, 6 older books, probably a Bronze Age, but every once in a while they'll sneak in a Silver Age. And they have a contest that you can win. We've won, what?
Won twice.
Twice? What did we win?
We won X-Men number 4, and we also won Ghost Rider number 1 from 1990. So had a couple winners. And I saw the advertisements they put on social media of potential winners for July.
What can we win?
I think a lot of Spider-Man number 1, 2099 number 1s are floating around out there this month. I think Masters of the Universe number 1, a couple of those are running around. And the big prize is Amazing Spider-Man 101.
I want that. Let's win that.
Yeah. So we'll see what we got here.
Let's roll the dice.
All right. Also, if you post on social media, which we do, that enters you in a chance to win CGC graded comics from Boxed Heroes.
Never won one of them.
Never won one of those. All right, so we got a couple extra stuff like we usually do when we have a Boxed Heroes. If you want to get your own subscription, you can get a one-time box to see how you feel about it, or you can get a monthly subscription, and that comes with a subscriber bonus box every month.
And a lot of times that bonus book is the best book in the box.
Right. All right, so what do we have here? We have Ghost Rider trading card right there. Then we have Lunatic Toon sticker. I don't know what that is. And then we have a sticker from Tom and Jerry right there. Then we have some kind of anime sticker. I don't know what that is. And then we have the info card on how you can, enter win a free comic book like we just told you.
And these stickers, we give them away at our pop-up shop. So.
Yeah. I mean, I usually give them to kids, but, if you ask me, what the hell, I'll give you a free sticker with a purchase. All right, so now on to the comic books. Let's see what we got here this week. If I can get them all.
You better come on. I can't do this for very long.
Oops. Damn it. That last comic book being stubborn. All right. So I flip them, and then I flip the subscriber bonus book the other way. All right, now we're ready to start.
Let's do it. Come on.
All right. First up, we have the Department of Truth number 19. And FYI, the Department of Truth number 1 is available at our pop-up shop this Saturday.
Yeah, we still have that?
Yep, still have that. So then, next up, we have, it gives you information on variants on the back here. It says, In-Hyuk Lee variant. I don't know who that is, but you have Batman 125.
Well, that's the beginning of the Chip Zdarsky. Yep.
Yeah, so...
We have that, but not that cover.
Not that variant.
It's a nice looking variant. So.
Okay, this one, interesting. John Romita Sr. and John Romita Jr. variant. It's Daredevil number 1. So I guess he took some of his dad's artwork and, made his own touches to it.
Well, that looks very familiar. I'm betting that's just he's doing homage to his dad.
Okay, so there you have Daredevil number 1. Next, we have a Ashley Witter variant, and that is Eve of Judgment number 1. So that issue leading up to Judgment Day that we were talking about, there it is,
Prelude.
right there.
Yeah.
Next, we have, okay, this says subscriber bonus book, but I thought the bonus book was at the bottom, so I don't know. Carlos Gomez promo variant. And this is X-Men Hellfire Gala number 1.
Yeah, we didn't get that one.
Okay.
So now we have it, and I'm going to read it.
Okay. All right, next one doesn't have anything on the back, so it's probably an older one.
Probably one of the older books.
You have Classic X-Men number 18 right there. Yeah, not a high value issue there,
No.
despite it being a little older. This is from 1987. All right, then you have this one, Azrael number 43, right there.
Also, not jumping up and down about it.
Another one, no info on the back. Night Force number 7. To save mankind, they became the Night Force. Okay.
I bet you've never read a Night Force comic.
Never read Night Force. All right, next we have Wonder Man number 11. Anger and Angkor. Right there. So that's from 82. So nothing super old this month. And then we have the Scotty Young variant. That's not going to be an old one. Another subscriber bonus book. So I don't know what happened with that other one.
Got 2 of them.
Iron Cat number 1. Scotty Young variant. All right, so no winners this month. Can't win them every month,
Right.
All right, so
one thing I've noticed about the Heroes book, you always, if you look at the retail prices, you always come out at least a little.
Little
ahead.
bit, yeah.
Sometimes you come out way ahead.
All right, so a lot of these are going to be added into our inventory. A few others we might hold on to for a little bit for speculator purposes. All right, so check them out at our local comic shop this Saturday, And speaking of which, let's go into our previews for this week's sale. Alright, now it's time for a preview of this week's pop-up comic shop. It's going to be this Saturday, July 30th. It is 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. and it is at 7002 Brookbend Way. Now, we don't have any brand new comic books or old comic books that we recently acquired this week because, someone was in the hospital this past week, didn't get anything. So, we do have some cool stuff to show you, though, if you haven't seen it already. So, first up, if you're a fan of WandaVision and you just watched Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, I got this key issue for you. We have Vision and the Scarlet Witch number 12. This is the first appearance of Billy and Tommy Maximoff, and they grow up to become Wiccan and Speed. So that's a cool key issue to have there. Next up, I just have, we just saw Thor, Love and Thunder, so I thought I would show you guys a Thor issue. This is a classic cover from the Silver Age, and it is Thor number 154, first appearance of Mangog.
Man, they need to bring Mangog into the MCU. This monstrous, cruel-looking bad guy.
All right, and then finally, if you just watched Miss Marvel, like the old man and I did, and you saw that that ending scene where, spoiler alert, Captain Marvel shows up.
Well, where's Ms. Marvel? I mean, did they do the old Captain Marvel and Rick Jones things where you ching and they switch places?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah. So it could be bad for Ms. Marvel. We'll see in The Marvels, which comes out soon, relatively soon.
I want to know.
But we have this right here. This is CGC graded. This is a 9.8 Avenging Spider-Man number 9, first appearance of Carol Danvers as Captain Marvel. And it says right here, it predates Captain Marvel number 1. So, also, if you're a big Carol Danvers enthusiast, we also have, ungraded, an X-Men issue, first appearance of Carol Danvers as Binary. So, she's gone through a couple different identities over the years. So, we have Binary and this first Captain Marvel appearance. So, you can get them both at our sale this Saturday. All right, so that is it for comic book previews. And we're going to have, hundreds of keys and thousands of different comic books for you guys to choose from. And we're also going to have toys and action figures. And I'm going to show you guys a few of them right now. So we got a couple different things to show you. A lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, like I said, you went cray-cray on pulling toys for this.
I mean, we haven't done this in 2 weeks, so it's like I have all this new stuff to show you guys.
See, even though I was in the hospital, the toy inventory keeps coming in.
Yeah. So first up, we have acquired at least four new Spawn action figures this past week, and here's just one of them right here. This is from the Curse of the Spawn line. And this is Jessica Priest and Mr. Obersmith right here. So that's a cool addition to your Spawn collection right there. Then, this one I thought was really, really great when I pulled it out when we first got the new toys last week. We have several dinosaurs from the Jurassic World action figure line.
We've had those for a little bit.
Yeah. But this one is from the original Jurassic Park toy line, 1993, and this is the electronic Dilophosaurus with striking jaw figure. So all the way back to the beginning. So that's a cool thing to have for your collection. Next up, we have sold a lot of toys from the McFarlane movie toy line. A lot of them have been horror movie stuff.
Horror's popular.
Yeah. We've sold Jason, we've sold Freddy, we sold Jason and Freddy together. I think we had a Michael Myers we also sold. And just this, 2 weeks ago, we sold the T-800 action figure.
We sold the ghost guy from Scream.
Ghost guy. Oh, yeah, Ghostface, yeah. And we still have a lot of other stuff. We have Candyman, we got Chucky, we've got Edward Scissorhands. We have a lot of other of those figures. But this one just came in last week. We have the T-1000 from Terminator 2. So you get the T800, you know, there's T1000 to add to your collection. All right, so you know, there's a few, and I have 2 more here. So do that. So the Marvel Select line is a really cool action figure line from Marvel that shows, you know, really cool points of articulation in these figures. And a lot of times they recreate classic covers in their action figures. I believe we have one that recreates Amazing Spider-Man 39, I think. Don't quote me on the number. But it was the first John Romita Sr. Spider-Man cover, where Green Goblin is pulling Spider-Man behind him with him unmasked. So we have that in Marvel Select form. And then we have this one here, also really cool. This is Ultimate Carnage. And this is, like we said, from the Ultimate line. And in Ultimate Spider-Man, Carnage, instead of just being a crazed serial killer like he is in the original, he's actually a creature that steals people's life force, like a succubus. So, you know, and that's what's happening here with his unfortunate victim here. So we're gonna have our full Marvel Select line available this week. We got them all out of storage, and we're bringing them all this Saturday. All right, then finally, we have, you know, we've collected a pretty decent video game action figure collection. We have, you know, we sold our Resident Evil line. We do have Duke Nukem, you know, Duke Nukem himself from the original PC game. Then we have a couple of different figures from Metal Gear Solid and Metal Gear Solid 2. And then we have figures from Marvel vs. Capcom and X-Men vs. Street Fighter collection. This one is Marvel vs. Capcom, just got it last week. This is War Machine versus Mega Man. So, interesting matchup there. So, you know, that's a really high value figure based on what I researched online. So that's a really cool thing to have for your collection. All right, so there's all of our figures. And I want to let you guys know that we have expanded our inventory space for our weekly garage sales.
Yeah, we used to just have 2 full tables, a little high-rise place, and what we had a room over on the table where we put our DVDs. Mm-hmm. But we added 2 4x4 pegboards.
2 new pegboards.
That holds a lot of inventory.
Yeah, that creates a lot of new space. So whatever we were able to show you guys every week, you know, we now have probably double the space to show you guys toys and action figures. So, you know, we're bringing even more of our inventory into the garage every week for you guys to check out. All right, so be sure to do that this Saturday, July 30th. It is 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., 7002 Brookbend Way. All right, hope you guys can make it. All right, now, speaking of the garage, let's head back up there with Thor. Okay, back up here in the garage with Thor. And, hey, buddy, you okay? You okay? Yeah? All right, so it's really hot out here, so I don't want to, you know, put, too much of a physical challenge on Thor, so we're going to do something really simple. And I've seen it on Instagram and TikTok, so you know, I'm just gonna blow on Thor and see what he does. That's it. That's the doggy challenge video of the week.
You got his attention.
Oh, watch your head, buddy. Well, that got a reaction out of you, didn't it?
He just thinks you want to play.
Thor will he'll do that sometimes when he wants me to go somewhere, but he doesn't clamp down, so he's very gentle.
Park it. Get in there. Sit. Get in there. Get where you belong. Get where you belong. I'm not going to give this to you. Get where you belong.
Come around.
Sit.
Come around. Thor, come around, sit. Thor.
You're not getting it.
Thor, come here.
Thor, get in here.
Come around.
Sit.
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 There you
All
go.
right, now you can have it.
Okay.
Dang, he was determined to get that one.
All right. So, we wanted a reaction. We got a reaction. So there's your doggy challenge video of the week. Good
I
boy.
wasn't sure what to expect from that.
All right, so that's going to do it for this week's episode. So be sure to join us this Saturday for our pop-up comic shop. I told you we're going to have a lot more merchandise to have on display for you guys. So be sure to check that out. And we're going to have comic books, DVDs, Blu-rays, and like I said, tons of toys and action figures.
Tons of toys.
Yeah. So come check it out. And next week we're going to be covering the rest of Comic-Con. I feel pretty confident they're going to put out some more stuff since this recording. So we'll have more stuff to talk about. So we'll see you guys then, and looking forward to our future reaction videos later this year. All right, we'll see you guys on the next one. Excelsior.
Two believers, it's too hot for me to think of anything original. So I'm just going to remind you that if it's too hot for you, it's too hot for your fur babies. Take care of them.